Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a shoulder day. We started off with a strict standing press, and I decided to go ahead and just do the empty bar so that people would see what my range of motion is when I go to my absolute furthest. So when people are like, oh man, you're skipping the lockout. No, I mean, that really is my range of motion. That's what I can do, and that's okay. I'm not going to lose the benefits of doing an overhead press because my shoulders only go in a certain position, right? And that's fine. We take things to the range of motion that we can, plus the bottom is really the most important part for things like our front delts, our upper chest, all that stuff. The stuff I'm trying to work, because I also want this to carry over to my incline. So I went ahead, the first one I did a full over grip, and I realized I'm definitely weaker with this slightly wider grip. I only got 5 reps. So I went over to a bit of that false grip, which is something I've often taught on the overhead press for a lot of people. So for me, definitely with that grip to where I'm taking it out to definitely the shoulder width, and I've got wide shoulders, it makes sense to do the false grip because I got 6 reps and I managed to get 8. Now the thing is with this, because I can't always necessarily get a crazy good lockout at the top, I do focus a lot on the bottom. So the thing here, I come down as low as I can stretch it, right? So we come to a dead stop, right? We come to a dead stop and I get those elbows tucked down at the bottom. Okay, so the whole point of all of that is, again, I do want to get some of that pec minor and some of the upper chest involved here, because this is for me a supplemental lift to my incline and stuff. And incline is a very, very, very big priority to me right now. So something I'm working on a lot. So again, I'd even said in my coffee chat this morning, I might stick with the seated, but I'm like, you know what? There's just something about the standing barbell press, right? Just for strength. And again, we are power building, right? My training really is bodybuilding, but we do want that little bit of heavy barbell work in. And what's interesting is, that people act like that's not part of bodybuilding. That's always been kind of a funny thing to me that people don't see it that way, when half of your Mr. Olympias really did heavy 1 to 3 rep stuff on their big 3. I mean, some of your greatest of all times, Arnold, Ronnie Coleman, so that's always a weird take, isn't it? Same thing, you look at someone like Michael Hurt, arguably probably the best physique out there in his 50s, long timer in the game, yet he still trains that way. So again, it seems like a very strange take that people have when you bring that up. So those ended up being all in the 5 to 8 rep range. I managed to get 8 reps with that weight on the last set. So happy with that. But I noticed I got stronger on it as I went. So then we went over to the upright rows, and like I said, I'm going a little heavier on these, taking them right around 8 reps. Like, I'd like to be able to get these with a full plate per side for good solid work sets. It's kind of a goal while being nice and strict like this. Now, some of my first reps, I've struggled a little bit to get the range of motion. So the thing is on this, again, this is an exercise to where the top, you're going to be limited by shoulder comfort. That's where people get hurt, is when they try to bring it up higher than their shoulders will comfortably allow for. Again, know your ranges of motion, know your safety. But again, as long as we get the full bottom, we're okay. And again, the same thing, are you taking a joint through kind of where your joint hits? Well, you can't really go further than that on certain movements. And this is one where I've gone lighter than this and just gone higher rep, and it's still pretty much the same range of motion. So again, the trick here, take it to what's comfortable on stuff like the top, especially when we're dealing with shoulders. Again, making sure I get the stretch at the bottom, getting some pretty decent looking striations there though in the middle of this. Obviously the waistline should start tightening up a lot more now that the carbs are down. They should be tightening up. So now that carbs are lower again, we'll see all that happen. I ran a couple weeks of running a bunch of brown rice and sweet potatoes back in. Again, filled me out a little bit, but didn't really do what I wanted with the waistline. So it's like, I'm just going to run lower carbs, right? All about that steak and avocado life. No, really, I'm doing a ton of full fat dairy also. Right, the Greek yogurt, full fat Greek yogurt, full fat Mutopia, which is like an equivalent of Fairlife. So again, but lots and lots of vegetables with all that. So avocados, spinach are pretty much 7-day-a-week staples for me. So we keep vegetables high. So I did 3 sets of 8 there. Same thing, the laterals, I went ahead and used the same dumbbells I used for the curls the other day. I went ahead and left them at the 38s. And I'm like, let's try to just get 8 fairly strict reps, right? just get 8 fairly strict reps, work the delts. Because a lot of this, I'm like, look, I don't think I need the crazy high reps. Like there's a point where we do say, 5, 6 reps can build maximum muscles. Just you got to watch your joints. You got to watch what you do. But if a lot of this stuff is up around 6 to 8, which is where I'm trying to do a little more work at the moment, we still do some high rep stuff, obviously. Like these ended up being 10s. Actually, I got 12 on the last set. I took the weight up, right? Because I got 13 with a 45. So I'm like, let me grab a pair of 25s and take this up. Also stuff like my incline dumbbells tend to be a little bit higher rep, right? They're up at about that 10 to 12. But yeah, I'm doing a lot of stuff in the 6 to 8. Like all my lat work the other day, 6 to 8. And then my bicep work were all 8s. But yeah, right around that 8 rep mark is really a good sweet spot too if we want to power build. So yeah, I do some 1 to 3 on the benching, the deadlift, box squats. Like box squats, I hit 500 for a 1 on a low box. I did a triple with 550 on the deadlift this week. I did a 3x3 with 315 pause bench. So, we're doing a little bit of that low rep, but for the rest of it, I really want to keep most of my training right now around the 5 to 8 as I continue to just kind of power build, work on recomp, and then we'll do some high rep stuff, right? Like extensions, my reverse hypers, I'm doing sets of 20. I did 5x20. So we're going to keep some stuff a little bit higher reps. Some of my tricep work, mainly so that I don't just jack my elbows up, right? So we are doing some of that, but really at this point, other than things like reverse hypers, stuff like that, I'm probably not going to go above about 12 reps. I don't feel the need unless I want to do some band work, right? It's like, let's just continue to get thick, get strong, get dense, especially now that the carbs are a little lower. So again, it's going to be 6 day a week training though on a power building split. But again, it's going to be biased towards obviously hypertrophy. We did 5 to 8 and then a bunch of 8s, 8 to 10 pretty much, right? And then finished up with 3 sets of 10 on the neck extensions. These I don't want to push to the limits. It ends up not helping. So for this, I need to continue to get that neck stronger, rehab it, get that crick in my neck completely worked out that I got from sleeping. These tend to help. Plus they're good traps. Exercise are good for upper traps, your neck extensors. So we finished up with just 3x10 on this. I didn't try to push these up to 15s or anything. Just get a good working in the joint and everything, right? Just want to work those vertebrae. But pretty happy with today's workout. It was a very straightforward session, 15 work sets. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.